As you have probably heard, inflation has skyrocketed recently. Listening to the financial news, we might think we were headed back to the 1970s or worse, the Weimar Republic in post-World War I Germany, where people had to use wheelbarrows to take cash to the grocery store to buy a loaf of bread. Or, as shown in this photo, where banknotes had lost so much value they were used as wallpaper. But I think there's a lot of hyperbole about inflation, and it's more likely inflation has already peaked rather than just getting started. One of the things fanning the inflation fears is the Consumer Price Index. It just showed the highest increase since 1992, coming in at 5%. But if you think about it, everybody in the whole country and even many parts of the world have recently emerged from the COVID-19 shutdowns and are going back to normal lives. This means everyone's out spending money and doing it at the exact same time. Think of what the grocery store is like right before a hurricane hits. It's not surprising we would see prices go up, especially after one of the deepest recessions in modern history. And there are some good reasons for the inflation we are seeing, including the tremendous government spending packages related to COVID-19, a tight labor market, and a comparison to inflation from its lows 1 year ago. But let's consider the bond market. As you know, I often like to look at the markets for insight on what's going on in the economy because I believe the markets are smart. If inflation is going up, we would expect to see interest rates rising in the bond market. However, in the last month, we've seen a decline in the 10-year bond yield, a useful barometer for interest rates. You may have heard about how the price of lumber has increased about 5 times so far this year. But did you know in the last month, lumber has declined 40%? The same applies to other commodities, including corn, which has declined in the last month, and also soybeans. If we want to know what the market expects to see in terms of inflation, experts often use an indicator called the 10-year break-evens. Here in the last month, again, we see a substantial decline, not an increase. So the markets do not seem to be anticipating tremendous inflation, and this is valuable information as we plan for the future. Meanwhile, if we consider leading economic indicators, they continue to point towards continued growth. This is supported by my own personal experiences, where many businesses that I know are booming. So while inflation is probably here to stay, the levels look manageable and are likely already priced into the markets. If you have questions on the effect inflation may have on your investments, please visit me online at chambersfinancialgroup.com or call my office. We're not in it for the short term, not even until the interstate speed limit is once again lowered to 55 miles an hour. We're in it for the country mile.